Making sure. Hello, I think we are live now. Feel free to say hello in the chat so I know you can hear and see me great, and share with me where you are watching from here today. I am in South Central Pennsylvania, and it is howling wind out. I'm hoping that no power lines go out in the middle of this live stream for you all, but it is some crazy weather out there. So let me know that you are here with me, that you can hear and see me all good. I do have the stream up here, so I can see your questions. I can see your comments. So absolutely leave a hello in the chat or a thumbs up emoji. Hello, Shelly. Thank you so much for being here. If we have not virtually met before, my name is Trena Little, and I have a YouTube channel here on YouTube, obviously, called Tips with Trena. And the whole purpose of my YouTube channel is to help business owners grow their video content, use video content to grow their business organically. So I teach a lot about YouTube strategy and how to use YouTube to generate more leads to your business. Also content planning and how to find the time to create content. I am a mom, and as 2020 has showed us, we can't always rely on our plans. We need to have a plan, but always have a backup plan. So I really help people figure out how to stay consistent with content when you've got a million other things going on in your life. So that's kind of the gist of what I do. My whole channel isn't around building a massive YouTube channel. It's about using the YouTube channel to facilitate leads and get you clients into your business. So I want to say hello to Call the Geek Videos, Matt Carvets from New Zealand, The Friends Kitchen. I see that Andrew is in there answering questions too. Katie on Kala Cove. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. I am surprised / amazed that we're already talking about 2021, but yet not. 2020 feels like the longest yet quickest year to me, because every other week it's like I'm trying to catch up and I fall behind. We were just recently quarantined for 2 weeks with potential COVID exposure. So the past 3 days for me have flown by trying to catch up with everything that I missed out on, because I can't really work with a 3 and a 5-year-old at home. So like the title says, we are going to go ahead and dive right into what you should be thinking about now as we go into 2021, right, to grow your YouTube channel. So I want to know what your goal for your YouTube channel is for 2021. Pop that in the comments, because I'm going to be talking about why we need to have a goal and what we should do to reach that goal by the end of this live stream. So I would love to hear some of your goals in the comments. So drop that in there. And if you know somebody or you have a friend who's also trying to grow a YouTube channel, share this video right now, whether you share it on YouTube or Facebook, or give this a like, just so that we know you're enjoying this type of content and you're excited for a brand new year. I mean, who wouldn't be excited for 2021? Can I just get at least a thumbs up for getting a new year started and letting 2020 go by to the history books, right? Okay, so we've got 1,000 subs is my goal from Calamine Gaming. We have Gold Mario Gaming is to reach 1,000 subs as well. Who else do we have? Getting traffic to my website from Nurse Navi. 10,000 subscribers from Purpose with Angelina. I'm sorry. This is so exciting. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things that we should be thinking about right now, because if you're anything like me, I am a planner and I already have an outline of a plan for my first 6 months of 2021. I personally have a goal of taking off the entire month of June next year. So I really want to get all my ducks in a row and be able to hit kind of that first half of the year goals, knowing that I want to take 2021 off. So here's the first thing that you really need to think about going into 2021 if you want to hit your goals here on YouTube. And it's not the, let's say, sexy side of YouTube when you're looking at analytics and stuff. And all the time when I talk about this on my channel, I see my audience retention drop, because it's not like a tangible thing, but it's literally the most important thing you need to know to grow a YouTube channel in 2021. And that is knowing exactly who your audience is. You need to know who your target audience is, so you're creating the right type of content. If you're creating the right type of content for that audience, those people are going to be clicking on it more, watching it more, and YouTube's going to know who to serve your content out, right? YouTube's going to do all the heavy work for you if you just are creating that content for the right person. What happens, what I see a lot of people, I understand you may be multi-passionate and you want to talk about a lot of things, but when you're creating videos about my morning routine, and then you're creating videos about my workout routine, and then you're creating videos about how to bake chocolate chip cookies or how to take better Instagram photos, like that is totally confusing YouTube on who to put your videos in front of, right? Who might be looking at how to create better Instagram photos is a totally different target audience than somebody who may be looking at a morning routine, okay? It's also confusing that subscriber. So if somebody clicked on your video and watched your how to make chocolate chip cookies video, and they're like, oh yeah, this channel's awesome, this is exactly what I want to learn, like more baking stuff, and then you publish a video about your morning routine, that subscriber is confused and they're like, that's not why I subscribed to this channel. So they're going to end up unsubscribing, and that's going to send negative signals to YouTube as well. And vice versa. If somebody subscribes to you because you shared this really cool morning routine video and they really like your style, and then you're sharing about how to bake chocolate chip cookies, that subscriber is confused, and that confuses the YouTube algorithm too. So that's why it's really important to know exactly who you want to be targeting, because when you try to talk to everybody, you end up not targeting anybody. So I know this is kind of a concept that can be a little bit challenging to wrap your head around, not you specifically, but in general, I see it a lot with my clients and my students inside of my program, Video Strategy Academy. So I've got a couple examples to help you with this, all right? So for example, my audience is business owners, right? They already have a business set up and they're looking for ways to increase visibility. They're looking for ways to get more traffic to their website. They're looking for ways to get new clients, okay? So that is my target audience. It is not necessarily for an entertainment channel or a gaming channel. While the concepts are there, my ideal viewer who I'm targeting isn't in YouTube to grow a massive channel, like 1 million subscribers. YouTube is a bystander of their business. Their business model is what is driving them revenue. So they don't necessarily need to know how to hit 1 million subscribers. They need to know how YouTube is going to grow their email list, how YouTube is going to help them book more speaking engagements, how video is going to build know, like, and trust faster with their audience, how YouTube is going to get them in front of more people on a search engine like YouTube, right? So that's where we're going to talk about in the second part, picking the right type of content. If you know your viewer, then you're going to be able to pick the right type of content for those types of people so that YouTube knows who to put you in front of more of. So that's why it's really important. Now, I want to do another example. So I had a client as well, a photographer client. All right. Now, you could literally take this particular client in 3 different directions, right? 3 different types of audiences. And these are all different, and the content will be all different. And that's how you are really going to create this lane in YouTube to really help YouTube know who to put you in front of, which is going to help you get more clicks, more watch time, and more subscribers ultimately. So let's take a photographer comes to me and she wants to get started on YouTube for her photography business. So one viewer that she could be going after is that mom or that college kid who wants to take better photos, right? They just want to be able to document their life better. They want to take better photos with their phone. And so that could be an entirely one set of viewers, right? That is just one channel in and itself. Or she could take option number 2, which is how to help somebody start a photography business, right? Option number 2 is going to be talking about totally different types of videos and delivering the content completely different than option number 1, where you're talking about the photography novice, the person who's probably using their phone, who's looking for filters, who's just wanting to make it super simple. Whereas option 2, that channel is going to talk more about how to find clients, how to automate your system, how to take pictures at weddings, maybe, what your workflow should look like to onboard clients. And so you see, this is a different type of audience, and you can't serve both of these because a person that subscribes to you for how to take better pictures of your kids doesn't care about how to set up your business photography workflow, right? So it just confuses the viewer, confuses if they subscribe, and confuses the YouTube algorithm. All right, so those are 2 options. There's a third option. So let's say this photography client is wanting to help current photographers scale their business. So maybe adding online courses, maybe wanting to show photographers how they can agencyify their photography business, right? So that that photographer can take a step back, but still have their business grow. So they may be talking about how to create an online course for photography for photographers, what should be in your online course, how to promote your online course, how to set up an agency for your photography business, how to find second shooters, or how to find employees for your agency, right? Again, totally different type of audience. So when you look at option 1, 2, and 3, you can see how so important it is to figure out who specifically you're talking to. So A, you are creating the right content for that person. And B, YouTube can see who you're creating content for so they can show it to more of the right people, thus helping you grow your channel. So I'm going to just double check here in the comments because I just talked a whole heck of a lot. So I'm going to grab a drink here and see what questions you all have about that. Let's see. Okay, I don't think there are any questions just yet. So I am going to have a total open time at the end of this to answer any and all your questions you have. So if you just want to like sketch them or write them down to the side, I will make sure that I get all your questions answered. So that first step in growing your channel, it's about understanding who you're talking to. I do have a third example that I did want to show you because, again, I know this concept can be overwhelming. So I have a student that is, she wants to create a channel about science. All right, so let's talk about the different options she could take. Option 1 is teaching science to small children, right? Let's say the elementary school student, maybe the middle school student who likes to do the different types of experiments. They're just starting to learn about science and they really love science. So that's a different type of content and a different style of content than, say, option 2, which would be potentially the middle school or high school student who is wanting more information to do better in science. So maybe they're looking for like tutor type videos or ways to help them get better at school, help them get better science grades, right? That's a different type of audience in option 2. And then option 3, with, let's say, the everyday person who just likes science, who thinks science is interesting, who has a hobby of learning more about science. And that's a different type of, first of all, content you're going to be creating and a different type of viewer. So I just wanted to throw out a couple examples so you could start to see maybe how you could figure out which way you're going to take your channel in 2021, because that's really going to make a difference to help you get those. I know many of you in here are wanting to hit 1,000 subscribers. That's really going to be a game changer for you if you can really solidify who you're speaking to get to that 1,000 subscribers. So then once you kind of really understand who you're talking to, then you want to start creating your content plan. And this is when you're going to take the time to do some content research. You're going to take some time to really plan and map this all out. I love the TubeBuddy keyword research tool. I highly suggest when you are researching your content to block a couple hours in a day to do this. So just an inside look at what my schedule looks like when I am either doing my content plan or I'm doing my clients' content plans. I will usually block about 4 hours for a month to 6 weeks worth of content, because when I'm digging into research, that's when things start to spider web. Like if I'm looking at a specific topic and I'm researching it, then I can see, oh, this topic relates to that and that topic relates to that. And I can find that when I do like an in-depth longer session of researching than if I'm just like, okay, I have to shoot a video next week. I'm going to just research this one video. It's a lot harder for you to find these types of videos that can really play on top of each other if you're just searching one at a time. So I would recommend just blocking like an hour or two in one day to try and come up and plan as many videos as possible. I am a huge advocate of batching. What I mean by batching is doing multiple things that are similar in one day. So I will research 4 to 6 videos in one day. I will then film 4 to 6 videos in one day, which I'm hoping, as long as the light wants to play nicely with me today, I am hoping to batch 4 to 6 videos after this, and then batching editing as well. And so when you're doing the same thing over and over again, you actually end up saving yourself time because you're in that mindset and you can get things done a lot easier than if you try to do researching, filming, editing all in one day, that will slow you down. So I'm a huge proponent of batching, and researching is one of the ways I batch. When I am in TubeBuddy's keyword research tool, what I also love is the SEO tool, because I can start saving my results. I can start tweaking the title, because I always have a title in mind before I shoot my videos to make sure it all ties together. And so with the SEO tool, I can come up with my title while I'm researching. I can come up with my description box content as I'm researching and put my tags in there and save that. So it's already done for me. And all I have to do is upload my video, and I can just plop that already done research right onto my video. That is such a huge time saver for me. And it's really been a game changer to help me actually get to posting 2 videos a week, which we've done on my channel the last 2 weeks, is because of the time I'm saving using those 2 specific tools inside of TubeBuddy. And I highly recommend, if you aren't using those, definitely try them out the next time you're researching your content and planning it out, because game changer. So what I talked about here was like researching your content, finding those tags that we call them, or keywords. I like to think of them as topics. Think about those topics that you're going to be creating. Again, I'm just going to check my notes here real quick and see what questions that you have as I grab a drink. Yes, Andrew said that the SEO Studio does require a paid option in TubeBuddy, but you can have a free trial as well. So do keep that in mind. Okay, so once you are getting those ideas in mind, I actually go an extra step. I don't just do kind of the keyword SEO research as well. I want to make sure my video is set up for success. I want to make sure that when I put my video out there, it's going to do well. So what I do is I watch YouTube videos. I look at, if I have a topic in mind, let's go back to how to bake chocolate chip cookies. That's the idea that I have in mind. I'm going to watch the types of videos that are showing up in search for chocolate chip videos. Then I'm going to look at the comments. This is my secret strategy that I do for my clients when I'm mapping out their content. I look in the comments, and what I'm looking for is questions. So maybe somebody's like, how do you do XYZ? Or what happens after that? Or how do you substitute eggs for no eggs? Or how do you substitute this for a vegan recipe? And so then that makes me think, oh, what if we did a video about chocolate chip cookies without eggs? Because people in this video are asking for that, and that's something people need. So when I take the time to actually look at other types of videos that are doing well, and then I'm looking at the comments, I'm figuring out how I can expand on content that might not be out there yet, that you wouldn't just figure out from doing that keyword research. So go that extra mile. Look at the videos that are performing well. How are those videos formatted? How are they hooking people at the beginning? How are they showing the content? So like specifically chocolate chip cookies. Are they doing an overhead shot? Are they doing a front on shot? Do they show the cookies going into the oven? Do they open the video with the cookies, the done cookies? That's the first thing that you see. Look at their thumbnails. Are the thumbnails that are showing up on the search page have the cookies in them? Do they have the batter in them? Do they have the oven? Like, what are some trending things that you see with all the thumbnails in the results that are showing up in search? So that's really the extra mile that you need to go to really set up your video for success. I'm a huge proponent of working smarter, not harder. So I will take a lot of my time at the beginning to research, to make sure when I create this video, when I put the time into this video, it's going to pay off for not only me, but I also do this for my clients as well. So I would start figuring out in 2021 how you can start implementing a process for researching. I use a project management tool called Asana, and I have every step that I do in this research process as a checklist so that I can make sure, okay, I have the title idea. Now let me see, how are they opening that video? Okay, now let me see, what are the comments that are popping in that I can incorporate into my videos, all right? So having a system in place will help you, A, do it better without missing any steps, and B, help you be more consistent if you have that process in place. Does that all make sense? Does that help? I get more views than some channels that are monetized already, but I don't get subscribers. Okay, we can talk about that in a minute. I'm just checking to see. Andrew said, I'm over 100K, but my public watch hours goes up very little. Is that just me doing more live streaming? So I don't know if it's necessarily live streaming for the question. I would look at what we're going to talk about here in this third piece, your analytics. And the numbers in YouTube analytics will literally tell you what you need to do to hit your goals. So I know some of you had some comments about, I know some of you listed your goals in the comments of the video. So if you haven't listed your goals for YouTube in 2021 yet, go ahead and pop that in the comments so I can see, and hit the like button if your goal is to hit over 1,000 subscribers in 2021. Because now we're going to talk about that next piece is analytics. And sometimes it can be dry. I personally was never a numbers person. I went to school, I went to college, and I got my master's degree in marketing, and I was more of the creative big picture person, whereas my husband went to school for finance, and he does financial planning and accounting. So we are two different brains over here, and I literally hated every single class that he loved because it was all about numbers and spreadsheets. But thanks to YouTube analytics, I've become more of a numbers person because when you can really break down the numbers inside of the analytics, that's where you're going to see success and real growth on YouTube. So the best way to do this, I highly recommend, again, batching, spending some time auditing your channel every single month. I tend to have this on my calendar the first or the second of every month. I do this for all of my clients and myself as well. I do about an hour to 2 hour channel audit. I'm looking at, okay, how did the last 4 videos do? Are there any videos that are performing above average that we could capitalize off of and do a series off of that since it's performing well? I'm looking at click-through rates. You know, is one of the last 4 videos, did they have a better click-through rate? One thing that I've absolutely loved is channel reviews. TubeBuddy has been offering this. It is a paid for channel review, but they literally will hand you over an in-depth analytical report when you purchase the channel review. And it's going to break down an action plan for you. Seriously, it's an action plan. It tells you what you should you update your channel banner, what needs to be updated there, what videos are doing well for you. It is everything that you need to do, a literal action plan. So that was a game changer for me, is getting that report because it saved me time. I didn't have to dig into the analytics as much because they had it all broken down for me. And an additional add-on, when you do get a channel review, you can get somebody at TubeBuddy to manually review your channel. And while I am a YouTube strategist, I get so into my content that I enjoy having an outside perspective every once in a while. So I've already done that. I've already purchased a channel review from the expert over at Channel Reviews. And it was so insightful because it gave me an outside perspective. So if you ever need an outside perspective, and I think that's under $100, the channel manual channel review from an actual person. And Andrew's probably going to pop in all the details about the channel review, but it's such a great price point to get help, especially if you're stuck and you're like, I don't know what to do next. My channel has plateaued. I am just stuck and frustrated. That outside perspective that you can get purchasing a channel review will literally change the ball game for you. So, one other thing that you should look at in your analytics as well is going into your traffic sources and see how are you getting views. All right, if your goal, so some of you said your goal was to get subscribers, go into your analytics and look at the videos that are getting you the most subscribers. What videos are driving you subscribers? What topics are driving you subscribers? And double down on that topic. If you're looking at wanting more views to hit that monetization threshold as well, having 4,000 hours of watch time, I would also go into your traffic sources and go into the YouTube search portion and seeing what topics, keywords, are people searching and then watching your content, and create a content plan around that as well. If you take the time, like I said, about an hour to 2 hours every single month to just dive into those analytics to really understand what is going on in your channel, that's going to be the difference you're going to see in 2021 if you take the time to do that. I was going to see what other things that I wanted to say about analytics, because like I said, I was not a numbers person, but I have become a numbers person. And I love analytics. I'm in analytics. Every single Monday is when I review clients' channels. So I look in there every single Monday at analytics to figure out how can we tweak our strategy? What can we change? So the traffic sources is big. This is going to be also very important for you. And YouTube just recently updated this, but looking at your audience retention graphs of your videos. All right. YouTube's not going to serve your content out if people aren't watching it. So there are kind of 3 analytics that I recommend focusing on if you're short on time on YouTube. And I'm going to explain this as like gold coins, you know, in the 90s or early 200s when there was 2000s, 200s. Oh my gosh. This is what happens when you're quarantined with kids for too long. In the early 2000s, Mario Brothers, where you jump down that green pipe and you're trying to collect as many gold coins as possible. So I like to think of YouTube as a game of Mario Brothers, and I'm trying to collect as many gold coins as possible. And where can I get the most gold coins? That first one in the YouTube trifecta is your click-through rate. So the one analytic you should be looking at and spending time on every single month is your click-through rate. How well your title and your thumbnail are getting people to click. Because here's the deal. YouTube's not going to serve your content out to more people if they aren't even clicking on it. Let's say YouTube puts your video on the homepage. That's awesome for you, right? But if nobody's clicking on it, YouTube's going to be like, people aren't interested in this topic. And that video is going to die off, right? So click-through rate, you want to be looking at that for every single video and looking for trends in the videos that are getting higher click-through rates. Are you smiling in those videos? Are you using orange text in those videos? Thumbnails, I'm sorry. Are you using icons in those thumbnails? What are some consistent trends that you see in the thumbnails that are getting higher click-through rates? But also looking at the titles, right? Because your click-through rate just isn't your thumbnail. It's your title and your thumbnail. So looking at how are you structuring your title? Is it a how-to title? Is it a you won't believe this type of title? Looking at what videos are getting the highest click-through rates and what can you pull from that data to see is doing best. Audience retention, which is the next thing. More gold coins you can pull in, the longer you can get people watching your video. So let's say that, okay, you got a great click-through rate and people are clicking on your video, but 60% of people leave your video in the first minute. YouTube's going to be like, oh, maybe this video isn't that great. Like people are clicking on it, but then they're leaving it within 30 seconds to 1 minute. So they're not going to serve it to more people. So you really got to play YouTube's game and you really got to try to collect those gold coins. And so if you have videos where your audience retention drops at the beginning, think about how can you hook your audience better? How can you open that video to better serve the title and thumbnail, right? Because if your title and thumbnail is getting clicks, but then people are leaving in 30 seconds, what is the mismatch that you have going on there? And so the audience retention graph that YouTube has, and more recently, they've updated it on some people's channels. I'm not sure if it's on everybody's. It'll tell you where it's dipping. Like they really give you a lot of information in that audience retention graph. So take some time to look at when are people leaving? Are you doing something in every single video that people leave? Don't do that in your next video. Like it's that simple. But those are really key. Your click-through rates and your audience retention. Those are 2 things that I would really look at. You can also inside of your audience, your analytics, see when people are on, when your audience is on. So don't put your content out or don't publish your content on a Saturday if your audience isn't on YouTube on Saturday. Find the time that they are on. I think TubeBuddy also has this feature, but YouTube recently unrolled it into their analytics as well. But find the best time for you to publish your content. When is your audience on YouTube? So that's really important as well. I think that is everything I'm going to talk about for analytics because I could literally spend an hour or more on analytics. So I'm just checking any questions that are popping up. I know Andrew was going to give me some questions as we got through this. So kind of talk through 3 sections here, and I want to kind of tie it all together and give you some bonus things to think about in 2021 as well. So the first thing we talked about here was really understanding your audience and why that is super important to understand and how that's really going to affect your growth on YouTube. The second piece was content planning and researching, how to research your content using the Keyword Explorer, the SEO tool, and also the Video Topics Planner. If you use that to not only save you time, but to make sure you're setting that video up for success when you do take the time to film it. And that last piece was really taking the time to understand your audience your analytics, right? And if you're short on time, 100% check out channel reviews, because that'll save you even more time if you're time strapped. But you've really got to understand those numbers if you want to hit your goals, your subscriber goals in 2021. A couple of the bonus things I wanted to talk about here is diversifying. So many of us know the chatter we've had about TikTok all year about whether or not it's going to be banned in the United States. And if your sole content platform was TikTok, and if it did disappear, I think we're good now. TikTok isn't going to disappear. My children are happy so that they can watch more dance videos. But if it were to disappear, that's your entire, let's say, revenue stream is gone. And so I would also start to think about in 2021, how can you diversify your content? So I'm not saying you need to go be on every single platform there is, but think about strategic ways to maybe start another platform. I personally like Instagram because I can show people more about how I'm managing running a business and being a mom and what that looks like. And when we do get quarantined for 2 weeks, how that totally changes my plans and how I adapt to that. I also like Instagram to connect with people. I like to message them in direct messenger. I like to have like friendships on Instagram. So that's one way to think about diversifying your platforms. Another great one is an email list. I know email lists can sometimes seem daunting, but for me, I live and die by my email list because my YouTube subscribers aren't necessarily paying me. It's my email list that's getting me to enroll new students into my program, get new clients to sign up for my agency. And my YouTube channel is small, 100%. I think I'm under 40K subscribers, but I'm making a multiple six-figure income using that channel to drive me leads that buy my courses, join my agency. And so I would really start to think about how can you find different ways to not only diversify your content platforms, but diversify your revenue. Because if you're only banking on YouTube AdSense, you're going to live and die by those AdSense numbers, right? And when you can have some type of business model off of YouTube, obviously coming from somebody who has a business, but you can control that more. You get to have control of the revenue that you're making by having that email list. Plus, if you're mad at YouTube because they don't send notifications out to your YouTube subscribers, you can do it with your email list. We send emails every Wednesday when we publish a new video because we know not everybody gets notifications, but when we send an email out, all of our email list gets notifications. So that's just one thing to think about as well. And then repurposing content if at all possible. I love being able to repurpose content. For me, again, my goal is to get as many views, as many eyes on my content, to get them on my email list and want to work with me, buy any of my courses. So I take my videos and we repurpose them on Pinterest because Pinterest is huge for me. Pinterest is my second traffic source behind YouTube. I will shoot an alternate ending for my YouTube videos that's specifically for Instagram. So then I take that video and turn it into an Instagram TV episode, which is super easy for me to do. I'm already creating a YouTube video. I just tweak the ending to an Instagram video, maybe putting it on Facebook, tweaking it for a Facebook video. So thinking about ways you can take the content that you're already creating and using it on those different platforms to diversify where your content is residing and really expand your reach, because there are people that are going to be on Instagram that just aren't going to leave Instagram. Same with Facebook, that just aren't going to leave Facebook. So you want to think about how ultimately could you reach more people by bringing your good content to the platforms that they are already on. All right. So those are kind of the biggest pieces that I have here for how to grow in 2021. I would love to open it up now to answer any and all of your questions, because I know how difficult it can be to get started on YouTube and grow a channel. So I want to be able to be here and answer whatever I can. I would also love to hear in the chat if anybody had like a major takeaway or something that they really loved. When I do these types of presentations, I like to hear, like, since I do them often, I like to hear the different takeaways that people have, because it excites me that you all found it valuable and you found something to take away from this that's really going to help you in 2021. So please share that in the comments. I would love to know. And if it was very helpful and you feel like you're going to do this, if you're going to hit your goals in 2021, give this video a thumbs up right now, because I believe in you. I know you can do it. You just need to take some time figuring out your plan here, and you can do it. So hit that like if you are committed to doing this in 2021. Okay, so we had a question. What would you recommend if I want to switch my niche? New channel or just remove the old content? Okay, I recently had a student going through this right now. And so what I would suggest is, how far apart is your niche? So this particular channel, I don't know if she's watching, but she really grew her channel around violin and teaching the violin. And now she wanted to talk about business and growing a business. And so I told her that's a hard pivot. So for YouTube to be recommending a lot of your content, because she had a couple thousand subscribers or more, YouTube had her kind of pinged as like this violin channel, right? And for you to put out new content about building a business, the algorithm's going to be totally confused, and it's going to be very hard to turn that ship. That is a hard right turn. And so I actually suggested to her, if she wanted to see quicker results, I would literally start a new YouTube channel, just because her two niches were too far apart. So if somebody was subscribing for her for the business content, and then they happened to see YouTube happened to recommend one of her older videos about playing the violin, and they're like, wait, I thought that channel was about business. Like, that's not, I don't care about the violin. That could really start to confuse the algorithm, and vice versa. If somebody subscribed to her for one of her older videos about playing the violin, and then they saw her post a video about building a business, again, confusion. So if there is a through line that you can connect the two niches, you could, but if they're too far apart, I would think it'd be best to start a new channel. Levi, is it true you shouldn't drive traffic from other platforms or email lists to your videos and let the video grow through optimization and organic search? This is a great question, Levi, because for me, I deal with mostly business owners, and their mindset is, if I'm creating content, I want to get them to my email list, right? So what I actually suggest doing for business owners, and what I do as well, I serve the YouTube machine, but I also serve myself as well. So I will generally do about 50-50. 50% of my videos will suggest another video. I will have a very strong call to action to watch another video or watch a playlist. And then the other 50%, I'm telling them to go get my free opt-in or go watch my free training, because I'm in my business. And for me, I don't need to grow my channel to millions of subscribers. I need to get people to go through my funnel that's going to make me money. That's where my bank is. My bank isn't necessarily subscribers. My bank is my email list. And so that's how I balance that out, is I tell business owners 50-50. But again, it depends on your goal, right? If your goal is to get 1 million subscribers, 1,000,000% focus on sending people to more content and don't send them off the platform. But again, it really comes down to understanding your goals, setting those goals, and figuring out, how you can get to that. If your goal is more money in your business or making more money with a business, then you've got to serve yourself and you've got to send people off the platform. Don't do it in every single video. If your goal is to grow 1 million subscribers, then don't send them off the platform. The concentration of knowing your audience resonates most with me. I'm in the Disney niche, but I need to niche down within. Oh, it just jumped. Within that world. Great input today. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Disney, you could go a whole different ways. You could go, I feel like with Disney, you could really focus on parents and families, but I also think there is a big audience for those without kids. There's a lot of couples without kids that go to Disney too, or you could also do about Disney foods or about specific Disney rides. Yeah, you could take that in a million different directions. Why do my videos get no views when I do everything right? It makes no sense. Are you guys sure this works? Absolutely. So my biggest suggestion for you is to go into your analytics and specifically look at maybe your last 4 videos. What's your click-through rate? Is it above a 3, 4, 5%? What's your audience retention? How many people are you getting to the end of your video? Is it 40%, 50%? How many people are you getting to the end of the video? So if your audience retention isn't that good, I would think about, okay, how can I make this video better? what could I do? Where are people leaving? What are the dips in this audience retention? And what could I incorporate into my content to make it better? So that's why I'd first start looking at, kind of looking at your click-through rate, seeing if your titles and your thumbnails are getting people to click. And then I would look at your audience retention to see if you need to make tweaks to your content or change the style of content that you're creating to get people to watch longer. How to get more impressions even though my video is ranking amongst top 3. How to continuously get views and impressions. So if you're getting impressions and you're not getting views, 100% look at your click-through rate. Because if you're getting impressions and people aren't clicking on it, you need to do something to entice them to click on your video. So do you need to change the imagery on your thumbnail? Do you need to change the title of your video to make it more I always like to refer to BuzzFeed. You know, this BuzzFeed headlines always grab people's attention, and how many of you have literally gone down the BuzzFeed rabbit hole? So think about how you can maybe title your video specifically for your target audience, right? So if you are getting impressions but you aren't getting the views, that's what I look at. How can I improve my thumbnails and my titles? A great thing that TubeBuddy has, this is in the paid for legend, I believe, is the A/B testing for titles and thumbnails. You could A/B test your thumbnails and see, okay, if I try this color of my thumbnail, does it do better? Or if I put text on my thumbnail, does it do better? Or if I put no text on my thumbnail, does it do better? And so in the legend of TubeBuddy's legend plan allows you to do that A/B test to really help you finally get those impressions potentially to turn into views when you can really understand what's going to make your audience click. It hurt the growth if I use Bitly to shorten my links when I send to my friends. I don't think so. If you're using Bitly, like if it's going directly to the link, it should be fine. I personally am not a professional on the Bitly link thing. So I couldn't tell you 100% what that would do, but if you're sending it directly to your YouTube link, I think it should be fine. How can I get more subscribers? Why am I telling? Because my channel views are more than my subscriber views who watch my videos regularly, but only 4% of viewers who subscribe to the channel. So your viewers, people who are watching your channel, are predominantly non-subscribers as opposed to subscribers. So one thing that I might consider is creating some type of community content. It seems like a lot of your content may be discoverable content, meaning they're watching your content to specifically solve a problem. So they come, they get it, and they're gone. So with community content, that's a way to potentially share more about you, share more about your stories. So maybe you share like mistakes you've learned from, or advice, like more of your personal story that may help those viewers that are watching and not subscribing turn into subscribers. You could also ask, I'm not sure if you're asking in your videos, to subscribe if you like this channel, or make sure you subscribe if you want more content like this, or subscribe because I post new videos or publish new videos every single whatever day. So those are 2 different ways you could look at really turning those viewers into subscribers. All right, how do you get people to sign up for your email list? Any programs, websites? Oh, great question. I currently use ConvertKit. There are a lot of options out there. So there's Flowdesk. I've heard a lot of great things about Flowdesk recently. A lot of people that I know in my industry are using Flowdesk. I use ConvertKit. There's MailChimp. There's ActiveCampaign. So literally just pick the best one that is in your price range and go with it. So then what I do is I don't just have people sign up for my email list. I provide them something. If I'm able to give them something valuable, they're going to be more likely to give me their email address so that I can send that to them. So could you send them a free checklist? I have a free YouTube roadmap that helps you get your YouTube channel set up for success. And so people who watch my content are like, yeah, I need to make sure my YouTube channel is set up for success. So they're more likely to pop their email into my lead capture form through ConvertKit. And then I have their email address and I send them that PDF. I also have like a script template. So if they want to figure out like how to script their video content, they can then give me their email address and I will send them a script. So if you can provide them, and these things are super easy to create. My favorite program is Canva, and Canva has a lot of templates already created for you. You can just add things in. So whether that's like a planning sheet or a checklist or a worksheet, Canva already has a lot created. All you need to do is just tweak it to your content and your brand, and then you easily have something to get people to get on your email list for. I don't think scheduling does anything. I think people prefer to just live live their life and watch good content. They don't want everything scripted and faked with research. That's a great point. And if you're growing your channel that way, then that's definitely what your audience wants. But it all will depend on your audience. And it goes back to really understanding your target audience. A lot of my people, a lot of my audience, they are needing help doing something, like they're working on a project, or a lot of them right now, I know it's December and they're thinking about their plan for 2021 as well. And a lot of my audience is like, okay, I want to get started on YouTube. I need to get started on YouTube. And so they are coming and watching my content now. This was a great example in March when we all got locked up for quarantine. I had a library of content and people had all this free time on their hands, and my YouTube channel watch time went through the roof because I had this library of content to help them grow a YouTube channel. And so it can work either way. It really just goes down to understanding your target audience and what your target audience wants from you. Should we look at average watch time or more about the percentage making it to the end of the video? That is another great question. I would definitely look at how many people you're getting to the end of the video. Average retention is great, but let's say your average retention is like, I'm not going to be great. Like math on the whim like this is not good for me. Let's say your average audience retention is like 55%, but you see that you still have four more minutes in your video where audience retention just plummets, right? Well, yeah, your average audience retention is 55%. You're not potentially getting people to the end of the video. I'm sorry, I almost knocked my water over. To the end of the video where you can recommend them watch another video. You have that end screen option to get them to you could turn a viewer into one viewer on one video to now another viewer on another video and more watch time. So that's what's important, to really focus on getting people to the end of the video, because you can serve those end screens and those call to actions to watch another video or get on your email list there at the last 20 seconds of your video. So I would recommend trying the best you can to get as many people as possible to the end of your video. I also heard you shouldn't promote a video on other platforms, post on IG, Facebook, LinkedIn to drive traffic to your video on YouTube. So YouTube prefers an optimized video and organic. So this is the last question I'm going to take here. We got the 2-minute reminder from Andrew. So here's what I suggest. I suggest native content to those platforms. I do not share a YouTube link to Facebook because Facebook hates YouTube. What I do is I add the end of my video as a Facebook ending, and I put the entire video up on Facebook. And so I'm creating content for Facebook, and I'm opening myself to more potential viewers. And same thing with Instagram. You could always share your content and tell people to go watch your video. I have a client who has a huge Instagram following, and she just started her YouTube channel, and we are really relying on her Instagram following to go watch her YouTube videos, and it's doing great right now. And so it's not necessarily that you shouldn't promote. You just need to think about the platform and what kind of content does best on those platforms and what's your overall goal with your content strategy. Whew. All right. So I got the 2-minute reminder. I just want to thank you all so much for being here live today. So many great questions. If you got any more questions, I'm on Instagram, Trena_little. Feel free to DM me over there with any additional questions that you have. And thank you so much, Andrew and TubeBuddy, for having me here today. And good luck, you guys, with 2021. Here's to hoping it does better. Bye, guys.